Hey guys, it's John Mallory from White Light Paranormal. This is my Golden Ghost Adventures 2024. If you haven't seen Golden Ghost 2023 or 2022, you can go to my website, www.whitelightparanormal.com, and go onto my blog and you can find the other links there. So we're up in Zeballos. When I say we, I'm here with Steve Shoemaker. You'll see Steve is also in those other two videos that we've made in the past couple of years. This year we're in British Columbia, Canada, and we're up in Zeballos, and that's on the northern side, the top end of Vancouver Island, and tons of gold came out of this area, and that's what it's famous for. But what happened is the war started, the mine started up, they got lots of gold out, and then the war started and all the men took off to war. So the mine is abandoned. We're going to show you some footage of that, and the mine's just been sitting there since. So we're going to go up to that Spud Creek that it was on, and we're going to try and pan. I don't think we're going to get very much, but we'll do our best and see if we can get just a little bit anyway and show you what type of gold we can get up there. We're going to do some paranormal investigation as well. There's a graveyard not far from here, so we're going to go there, and we're going to Steve's going to talk about that graveyard. He's going to try and help some people that are looking for their graves on some website. He'll explain it all. And we'll try and get some photos of the graves and some GPS points, so that's going to be kind of cool. And also going to do a paranormal investigation of where we're staying tonight. We're staying at the Cedars Inn, and that's just a little hotel just down the road. I think there's only two places to stay in Zeballos, but Cedars Inn used to be an old hospital, and it's been converted now into a hotel. We're staying in room 10, and just down the hall is where the morgue was, so we'll see what we can find Cedars Inn. If you just look off to the right here, you're going to see an ore cart, and that's probably from the mine that we're going to show you some footage of. And then if you go a little further to the right, you're going to see the type of gold that they pull out of here. These nuggets are probably about 15,000 pounds, and they're available to anybody that drives up here and wants to take one. You'll be an instant millionaire. No, those are just painted rocks. But that's an old, this is all old equipment from the old mine. Anyway, stay tuned. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And after Zeballos, probably going to stay a night or two here. We're going to head off to Lytton and kind of, different places along the Fraser River and try and get some gold from there. So stay tuned.
Close my eyes, you're looking.
All right, so we're on the way to Spud Creek, and we spotted this old graveyard. This is in Zeballos, not far from town. What you were just looking at, unfortunately, and this always makes me sad, is when you see a child's grave. Now, there's no name here, but you can see there's a little toy rabbit in there, and they've done a good job of sealing it up, like a little memento for him. But anyway, we are going to come back to this graveyard because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera in a second. I'm going to point it at Steve, and he's going to explain what we're going to do. But I'll also bring some paranormal equipment here, and we'll see if we can reach anybody.
Okay, we stopped by the Zeballos cemetery out here, and I'm doing a little find-a-grave work for volunteer to find headstones that people are requesting to see headstones of their loved ones. And a lot of times you can't find them because the names are off of them, or the headstone has fallen apart. Like in a lot of these cases, they use wooden headstones, so they just don't show up. But we did find one for this individual right here, William Sylvester. So we got that uploaded, and the family will now get a picture of their loved one's headstone.
Are you able to get a GPS position as well?
When you take the picture, it automatically GPSes it.
Passing mile, I see them in the sun, the earth, the sky.
All right, so we just reached Spud Creek. Thing is, we don't know this area very well. We're not sure where to pan. We've done a few test pans, haven't had much luck, so we went on a little bit of a scouting mission, and we found this. Now that's our shovel, but here's a hole that somebody else has already dug, and the ground is really difficult to dig and it's quite deep, so we believe that there's probably gold in this area. Somebody probably wouldn't have wasted their time digging down that deep unless they weren't getting anything. We also found tailings. Let me just walk up this path here. Well, we did find this old screen too, so somebody's been trying to classify here, and there's tailings all over the place. Those are tailings. These are basically the rocks that have been washed and discarded, and then they'll pan whatever came out of that mixture. Here's some more tailings. And we found this big kind of pit area, and actually there was a shovel in it as well. So we're using the shovel that was there, and we'll leave it there when we leave. But there's Steve digging down underneath a rock. It's gonna save us hours of digging to get down deep. So this is kind of a bonus. But as you can see, this pit has been filled in. So somebody has actually done their due diligence, and they've kicked rocks in here to make sure somebody doesn't fall in a giant hole. So kudos to them. And that's what we're gonna do as well when we leave. Anyway, wish us luck. We'll show you what we get out of either of this pit or the one behind me. All right, so I just started using the pry bar down this hole, digging up some of that dirt. Steve just did a test pan. How did you do, Steve? Are you near the end? You're seeing gold. Let's take a video. Here's our first test pan. That is decent. I think we're staying here for the day. That's awesome. Okay, we'll continue digging.
Okay, well, we started off digging in a couple of holes that existed, and occasionally we'd find some really nice pieces, and then it's kind of hit or miss. All of a sudden we'd get a pan or two where there's nothing in it, and so we're checking different levels. So what we're doing is hitting that level, checking it, going down about a foot, checking it, going down. We're about 3 feet deep down here. And so far we really haven't established where the good level is, but we're looking.
As I went under this rock, we were getting better gold kind of on the surface. So I dug underneath this big rock, and I'll show you what was in the pan. It's actually pretty nice. So there's my finger. That's decent sized stuff. So we're gonna keep panning under there and see what else we get. All right, so we just finished 4 hours of panning on Spud Creek, and I don't think we did that great, to be honest. Just about every pan had at least a little speck in it. There were some where it got skunked and there was nothing. But what we do is we get down near the end of the pan and we dump it into that orange bucket. And at the end of the day, this is sort of the end of 4 hours, Steve now is taking that entire bucket. He's gonna pan it down just to see the total amount of gold we got. Again, I don't think we got much overall, but it was a fun day. Next, we're gonna go up to the Zeballos mine up there, which is the privateer mine, and show you all the old ruins. And I understand they're gonna rejuvenate that mine. With the price of gold now being so high, I believe they're gonna open it up again. So I guess we kind of got in there before all the work crews get here, and this area gets busy again. All right, and this is the old abandoned mine. However, it's going to be reopened soon from what I understand. And actually you can see a new sign on here. So that kind of shows me they're probably gearing up to probably rip this place down and redo it. But what we think, we're not sure how this operated in the day, but we think those ore carts were probably dumped into this building, probably into some sort of hopper, and then the conveyor belts probably took it into this building here. And because it's ore, we're assuming maybe it was crushed here and then probably sorted. I don't know if it would go through a sluice. I really don't know the process, but this would kind of be probably the final processing plant. But it would be interesting to know how a plant like this actually did work. That's our best guess anyway. Okay, so I just stuck my head in the door here. This is probably where they dumped the ore carts. They probably went up that conveyor belt there, I'm assuming. And then they would probably then be dumped into a sluice. As you can see, everything's in a bit of disarray here and broken down. So I'm assuming they're probably gonna have to tear all this down and bring in new equipment. All right, so this is the little bridge that the ore cart would go over to bring it to the processing plant. And it's quite noisy here. The water's really rushing. Here's a great shot of the creek. Just beautiful scenery. But straight ahead is the adit, and I know that an adit is the entrance to a mine. And sitting right in front, there's an ore cart. So let's go take a look. This is the adit, which is the entrance to an old mine. You can see the railway tracks. Let me zoom in. That's where the ore cart would travel along. And you can see the wooden door has come off its hinges, and they've put up some sort of fencing system so you can't get in. But as I approach the entrance here, just zoom back a bit, I can feel it, it's kind of warm just about 4 feet back, but right here, super cold air is coming out of this mine, which is really interesting. And if you look inside the mine here, you'll see an old ore cart, which has probably been sitting there for, I don't know, probably 80, 85, 90 years, possibly. I'm not quite sure. I haven't, I can't remember when this mine closed, but I wouldn't doubt it'd be something like that. And if you look back down this, whatever you call it, the bridge, this is what you see. There's Steve on the other side. Now that isn't that interesting. It's sensing it. Wow, that's really interesting. It's actually going off. It hasn't gone off for the last 15 minutes. Oh, if there's a spirit here, can you please make the left side go off constantly? Now, can you go to the other side? Can you go to the right side and make the red light go off? Just whatever you're doing. Okay, so now make the red light go on, please. Wow, it just did. Thank you. I'm gonna zoom in a little closer. All right, if you're a male, can you make the left side, the green light, go off, please? Thank you. If you're buried in this graveyard, can you make the red light beep and go off right now? Just the red light, please, the right side. Can I hear it beep? Okay, I'm seeing both sides go off. If there's more than one spirit here, can you make both the left and the right side go off and just constantly go off? Just beep, 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 beep. Okay, now if there's more than one spirit here, can you just stay on the green side and don't let the red light come on at all? Don't let the red light beep, just the green. Just keep beeping the green. That's really interesting. A Flex 2 detects motion, so I can ask if a spirit could go up to that and wave their hand in front of it on the right or the left. I'll see if they wave their hand on the right side, I'll see a red light go off, and if they wave their hand on the left side, I'll see a green light go off. Now it is flashing green. The red just came on. But oftentimes what you're doing is you're waiting to listen for a sound. Now here comes a grader coming by, a road grader. Dirt road that we're on, so it's really nice to have the road graded. So if I hear any beep, 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 I'll know that something or somebody or who knows is playing with that.
Me find you here. Close my eyes, you're looking back at me. Out of all the mother's beauty that I've seen, there is none more beautiful than you to me.
So I'm just wrapping up. I've got all my equipment in one spot. I still have the two Olympus recorders on. We're about to leave. I didn't pick up really much of anything, but if you're able to say anything into those two recorders, the ones that I'm pointing at right there at the top, they're silver, they're rectangular. If there's anything you can say in there right now, I'd love to hear you. Can you say whatever you want? Any spirit in this graveyard, if you want to say anything, go up to those two recorders and say anything you'd like. Thank you. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Hopefully I picked up something you said. Appreciate your time, and may you rest in peace.
So I'm just wrapping up. I've got all my equipment in one spot. I still have the two Olympus recorders on. We're about to leave. I didn't pick up really much of anything, but if you're able to say anything into those two recorders, the ones that I'm pointing at right there at the top, they're silver, they're rectangular. If there's anything you can say in there right now, I'd love to hear you. Can you say whatever you want? Any spirit in this graveyard, if you want to say anything, go up to those two recorders and say anything you'd like. Thank you. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Hopefully I picked up something you said. Appreciate your time, and may you rest in peace.
All right, so here's the hotel. Let's just go inside. That's the office. And this is the front door. And you walk in and it just smells like an old building. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's just got that smell of history. And here's the room, for example. Now we're downstairs, and that's where the dry room is. And the dry room used to be the morgue. This used to be a hospital. So I've got my equipment downstairs, and we're gonna do an EVP session in the morgue and see if we can pick anything up. I've been given permission to do this. This is the kitchen area. So now we're going down to the basement. Staying in room 10 here, but we're heading to the dry room again, which was the morgue. But this is the dry room, and I've had my GoPro going. Now I'm assuming what they do is they obviously dry things in here. I don't really know why, but there's hanging baskets and hangers, so it's probably where you take your clothes. But I've got my GoPro that's been filming the whole time. I've got my Panasonic DR60 and my Panabox down here. I've had an Olympus recorder going, and I've had my other Olympus going over here. I've got my K2 meter, and I've got a Flux 2. Now the Flux 2 is quite interesting. What it does is it senses movement. And there's a sensor to the right and to the left. So I'm going to be asking some questions and seeing if there are any spirits here. And if they are, they can go up to that and they can wave their hand or appear on the left side. And I believe the left side is the green side and the right side is the red side. So you can actually interact with spirits. So let's try that right now. If you died in Zeballos and your body was brought here and you can come back into this room, can you please come in now? And can you try and interact with that blue flashing light? Perfect. Thank you very much. Boy, that's the first time it went off. That's really interesting. Thank you very much. So I'm guessing there's probably a spirit here because that should not go off because there's absolutely no movement in this room. All right, so let's do a second attempt. If there are any spirits that, if they, during their life, if they passed away and their body was brought to this, where I'm sitting, this morgue, many, many years ago, can you please return
and either make one of those lights in the background flicker, the one on the right, or if you can sit or move your hand to the Flex 2, which is the device with the flashing blue. Okay, boy, you just did it again. Thank you very much. It's funny, that thing hasn't gone off at all, except for the 2 times that I asked if you'd passed away and if you were brought to this morgue. So that's really fascinating. Okay, well then I'm gonna ask you the question that I asked you twice. It went off immediately after I asked you. If you passed away in Zeballos, or if you passed away elsewhere, and your body was brought to this location where I am right now, and your body sat in this morgue, could you please make the device go off by making some sort of motion so it detects you, and we see the, oh my goodness, that's 3 times. That is fascinating. Actually, that just gave me goosebumps. Thank you very much. I've asked you 3 times, it's only gone off 3 times, and it went off immediately after. So you may or may not be able to communicate with me on the digital recorders, or on the device on the right, you may not be able to make those lights change, but 3 out of 3 times you have interacted with me on the Flex 2, so I greatly appreciate it. Well, Steve and I are now in the Yale Museum. It's an amazing museum with lots of artifacts from this historic town. And I've got my DR60. I tried my Panabox, but I can't get any radio stations here. We're just too far away from where I can pick up stations. So it's always nice to have the DR60. So let's just see if there's any spirits here. So I'm calling forth any spirits that would like to come and talk with me right now. All right, so we're going to be leaving. Just one last question. If you'd like to give me your name, can you please leave your name on this recorder now? Thank you.
All right, so Steve and I are panning on the, well, just in front of Lillooet here. There's a bridge, and that's where two rivers meet. There's the Fraser, which you can kind of see in the distance is muddy, and then there's a clear Thompson River, and they mix right here. And generally the gold is really good from what we've seen on YouTube videos, but we also noticed that the water is a lot lower, so the panners are getting farther out, and that's where you get the good gold. So we're ending up with little stuff. I'll show you kind of a typical pan of what you'll get up higher. So I'm gonna put my finger in here. So, I mean, just little small pieces. You maybe get anywhere from like 2 to, oh, I don't know, maybe sometimes we got 30 per pan, but they were smaller. We've actually just moved up from the river because we had an alert on Steve's phone. It's an alert app. And apparently they're forecasting heavy rains, which could create floods coming down, which could be dangerous for us to be too close to the river. Now, about 2 weeks ago, there was a landslide far up the Fraser River, and it dammed the river, and it actually dammed a tributary, and that broke maybe about a week ago, and it sent a torrent of water down the Fraser, down this path here, and there was lots of tree debris and whatnot. When we were in Hope, which is sort of between here and Vancouver, we saw lots of tree debris up on the sandbars, so it brought it all down, and brought a lot of the silt and the mud. Yale was, when we went to pan in Yale, which is just a little bit beyond Hope, we noticed that there was quite a bit of, you know, maybe about a foot thick of mud that if you stepped in it, you'd sink. So that was all from that landslide. Anyway, we're going to, if anything, we're going to pan up higher. So just in case there's any big wave of water that comes down here, we'll be safe. We may head over here, or we may end up just calling it a day. We're just not getting that much. All right, so we just showed up at the Lytton Cemetery, just across from the town. The only problem is it's right off the highway, so it's gonna be difficult to do EVP work with the DR60, but we'll do the best we can. Anyway, it looks like the traffic stopped a little bit, so let's go. If there are any spirits that would like to come forward and say anything, please do so now. Thank you. All right, well, looks like we had a nice little lull there. That's rare, so I'm kind of lucky that I thought I'd not hit stop, but I did. Let's play it back and see if we caught anything.
If there are any spirits who would like to come forward and say anything, please do so now. Thank you.
Okay, you know what's funny? I think we caught something, because I've done many EVP sessions in here where there are little bits of lulls as well, and I videoed, and I got nothing, and that's the first time I've heard something that could be a voice. So I will go and translate that when I get home, listen to it very closely, and try and make out what I think it says, and I'll put the words on the screen.
If there are any spirits who would like to come forward and say anything, please do so now. Thank you.
John Copeland. Looks like I've found one. Hey, Steve. It looks like I've located a grave for you. So what we'll do is Steve's going to come over and photograph this grave and put the GPS point on it. And then you're going to put it on, it's called Find a Grave?
Find a grave, yes.
Yeah, .com. And their loved ones will now know what the headstone looks like and where it's located in the graveyard.
Okay, this one's John Copeland. And I hit photo requested, and it comes up to fulfill it. We're going to fulfill the request. Take photo of the grave. So I'll come up here, and I'll get a good photo. And I'll upload that. And also I can see that it's got the date of his birth and death on there, and on here it's missing the date of the birth, so we can add that to it.
Perfect.
So you give it a second to upload.
And I found a few of these graves, the spelling was incorrect and the dates are incorrect. So it's great to help their family understand, have a little bit more information about their loved ones. Okay, John, we just documented your grave for your loved ones. Is there anything you'd like to say? So the sun has set about 15 minutes ago, and we're about 20 minutes east of Lytton, and we're staying at, they call it a resort, but it's a river rafting complex where you can stay and river raft, but we're just going to stay here and go back and pan again tomorrow. But isn't this beautiful? That's the Thompson River, and the Thompson River flows into the Fraser, and that's where we're panning. And at this place, you can rent teepees or these canvas huts. So we've rented a canvas hut, and it's just stunning. It's about 90 degrees out right now, and I don't know, it's about 9 p.m. So just beautiful up here. If you ever get a chance to come to Lytton, British Columbia, you really should. And this is a great place to stay. Thought I'd take a quick video of what these cabins are like. They're pretty comfortable. I mean, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and after a hard day of panning, they actually even have a swimming pool up at the office there. The hot tub was broken, unfortunately. It'd be nice to soak the old bones in the hot tub, but this is the inside of the cabin, so it's pretty comfortable living. You know, you're roughing it during the day on the river, and then you come to a place like this, and it's pretty nice.
I see them in the sun, the earth, the sky.
All right, so we're just wrapping up the day of panning here, and this would be kind of better. I would consider this one of our better pans, but again, everything's pretty small. Let me put my finger there. So there's probably like 30 specks in there. But I don't know, if you did a couple of million pans, I guess you could have an ounce.
Send me something to help me find you here. Following the trail our souls took years ago. Little pieces of you strung on twine. I collect them just to show you how they shine. I know all the beauty that you hide, and I won't stop trying to.
We are heading back to Vancouver, but we stopped off at one of my Gold Panning Club claims. This is quite close to Yale. There's Steve, he's panning out our concentrates. I'm just working along underneath these cobbles here, and I'm getting some pretty decent gold. Let me zoom down here and show you. So let me put my finger down there. So probably a couple hundred little specks per pan, but it's amazing how much small gold collects in this area.
Send me something, 'cause right now I am lost in one dream, pacing back and forth and praying you'll help me find you here. Close my eyes, you're looking back at me. Out of all the mother's beauty that I've seen, there is none more beautiful than you.